Hello everyone, Fanta here. You're watching FANTAVISION, and today I am discussing crazy customer confessions. Now, this episode is brought to you by, the idea is brought to you by TV Floatsoul. And as I was making this list, I actually thought of a lot of things that coworkers have actually confessed to me. So if you want to see that video as well, let me know in the comments down below. Also, please leave a like for this video. Definitely helps. So let's dive in. Also, happy Christmas Eve to those of you who celebrate that. There you go. The first customer confession is definitely not a happy one, as I just wished you a happy Christmas Eve. For some reason, customers decide to confide in me their medical history. I don't know what has made this a thing. This hasn't just been one customer. This has been many customers that have told me everything about their medical history, whether it be recent or past or ongoing. And I don't quite know why. I don't know if they have nobody else to tell or if it just feels better for them to get it out in the open. But having somebody tell me that they have a tumor or they have some horrible untreatable disease, or they have some sort of cancer, I don't know what they want me to do with that information. It just makes me feel bad. I just say, I hope you get better soon. But you can't really say that to somebody when this one particular old woman came up to me and said, I am dying. I have stage 3 cancer or something like that. And it was completely unprompted. So many times these customers told me what was wrong with them, how they were dying, how they had some sort of bad disease. And it was out of nowhere. I mean, I worked in the electronics department at Walmart. I'm not working in pharmacy. And when it happened, I was not subbing out in pharmacy or anywhere near pharmacy. It's on the other side of the store. But for some reason, people were telling me right where we sell video games, DVDs, and stuff like that. Nothing I was selling them had anything to do with it. They just told me these things. Same with GameStop. GameStop's about as far from the medical field as possible, but for some reason, strangers just decide to come up and tell me what is wrong with them. I can't treat you. There's a hospital right down the road, but I can't do anything. But I wasn't going to stop them if it was somehow therapeutic to them. Just keep doing what you're doing, people, but it just confused the hell out of me. On the topic of medical issues and death, I've had many customers just come up and tell me that one of their family members has died. They tell me that it was either recent or they recall somebody from a long time ago. Again, completely unprompted. There was nothing in the context of what was happening for them to bring up this thing. I've had people tell me about their funeral experiences that they were just at. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why are you telling me? I've heard other coworkers have the same experience, but it seemed like I just attracted death and medical issues and just, I don't think I look like a therapist, but I guess a lot of people don't have the money for one, so they just rely on retail workers. Me specifically, for some reason, I again don't understand exactly what is going on in the minds of these customers to tell me, hey, my dad just died. I'm really sorry to hear that. I, again, don't know what to do with that information. I just kind of feel bad for the rest of the day. It's such a strange phenomenon to me to have somebody come up and tell me something so personal. I mean, medical records and family death. I mean, those are things you can't even ask in an interview, but these people are just telling me up front, out of nowhere, unprompted. Along with being told about deaths, this doesn't have anything to do with retail, but it reminds me of when I was in middle school and my math teacher, for some reason, I don't quite remember when it started in the year, I just know it continued the rest of the year once it started, would tell us about a family member, about their life, and the process of them dying. I was in middle school. Why are you telling a class of middle schoolers about how each of your individual family's members died? This was not like a lesson. This was a math class. a math class, the teacher's deciding to do this. She sometimes would break down and start crying in front of all of us, and none of us know what to do because nobody told her to start doing this. Nobody brought up the memory of these family members. I don't know why she was using us children as therapy, but it was just kind of deeply unsettling. It was Monday too. It was like my first class on Monday. Why would you start our week like that? I get where it's school. Monday sucks enough already, but having to hear you cry about some dead family member that you saw the life leave out of them. Like, I don't understand what this teacher was trying to do besides traumatize a bunch of kids. I've had so many customers over the years, back when I worked in retail, tell me about their experiences with drugs. I don't understand it. It was, again, completely out of nowhere. They would just tell me these things. And one customer in particular that I remember, just for some reason, just this one customer who was about my age at the time. I think I was around 18, I think, when I heard this story. I was the only one in the store. It was a midnight launch. He was one of the last people to be finalizing his receipt, and my manager was outside just checking out receipts. And for some strange reason, this customer felt like he needed to tell me about the first time he did meth and what it was like and how he's never going to do it again. This was not some lesson of don't do meth. This was just some guy who felt like, you know what, I'm going to tell this GameStop employee about my recent meth experience. And he proceeded to tell me about how it tasted, how it smelled, how his other buddies pressured him into doing it, and how he was up for like 3 days with no sleep and could feel the hair growing out of his face. And how he cleaned his apartment and a bunch of other just random stuff. I don't understand why he told me this. I really don't. It wasn't even a game about drugs. I think it was like a Call of Duty launch or something like that. And he ended it by telling me, I guess it was kind of a lesson of not to do it. He's just like, man, I'm never going to do that again. Definitely don't recommend it to anybody. I'll go in the back of the line now. It's like he was waiting for my manager to leave, because he was in there while my manager was in there. He was waiting in line, then my manager left, and then he just decided to tell me when nobody else was in the store. Again, I think he just needed to tell somebody. He didn't know who to talk to because he's not going to tell his parents for obvious reasons, and he can't tell his friends because his friends were there. So he just decided to tell this random GameStop employee, I did meth and it was awful and this is what happened. Just, don't do meth, kids. I mean, he didn't know it, but now thousands of people are going to hear don't do meth, though I guess that's kind of obvious. I feel like that's the most obvious thing in the world. I had a regular that I don't remember if I discussed in the strange and interesting customers video. It was over a year ago. It doesn't matter now. Nobody remembers it. I had a regular who discussed his personal life every single time he came in, which was fairly frequently. Sometimes there'd be a little bit of a lull of his visits. But whenever he came in, it seemed like his life just kept getting worse every single time he came in. I don't think it was the GameStop that was doing it, but every time he came in, his life was worse, and he just had to report it to me. I don't know if he had nobody else to tell again. Again, I don't know if I look like a therapist, but he told me about his life. The first time he came in with his wife, and I believe she was pregnant or something like that. And they didn't mean to get pregnant. So it was already pretty traumatic from the first time he started telling me about his life. Now, of course, he didn't say that while she was in there. I feel like that would have been weird. It was like he came in with her and then came back later by himself, and he was like, man, she's pregnant. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that, because it was obviously not something he wanted to happen, and he wasn't working an amazing job to raise a family. And he doesn't live in a great city for a family. So then the next time he came in, and he tells me about his depression and how it's getting worse, and I tell him, you just gotta keep looking at the bright side of life or whatever. I mean, I was incredibly depressed at that time as well, so I probably wasn't very much help. I was probably like, yeah, life sucks, whatever, I I don't think I said it exactly like that. He didn't say he was suicidal or anything like that. He didn't say that. It didn't seem super serious. He was just kind of saying, "Oh, life sucks, work sucks, all that kind of stuff." He came in next time and he told me about how he'd gotten himself into trouble because he cheated on his wife. So he'd had an affair, he'd been depressed, and he had knocked up his wife already. So those are 3 things that have happened so far. Next time he comes in, he shows me the marks around his neck from where he tried to hang himself and was committed in a mental hospital for a couple of days. I think it might have been a week. And he told me about his experiences in a mental hospital and about how the drugs make you feel numb and like a zombie. And it just sounded like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It sounded like a miserable experience. And I don't quite know how that's supposed to bring back somebody from that horrible of a mental state. I think people just wanted to keep him under observation to make sure he didn't try again right after. Next time he came in, he told me about another affair and that he had knocked up another girl. It's like, do you not know how condoms work? They know how pregnancy happens. It is very easy to not have this happen, but apparently he doesn't know how to use them. So another girl knocked up. And I believe there were a couple other things that happened, but I don't remember what else happened while I was working at GameStop. This story's not over. The story concludes by a few months ago, I was getting food somewhere. I'm not going to name the place. I don't know if he watches these videos or if he cares. And I'm telling everybody, it doesn't matter. I haven't said his name. There's no way to identify him. A few months ago, this is years later. I mean, it's probably been like 5 years since I've worked at GameStop. Maybe more. I'm old now and I'm sad. He told me about how not only did he knock up that other girl, but there have been other affairs. And he is now living with his wife and one of the girls he had an affair with, who is also pregnant, but she is, I guess, dating somebody else now, so she's going to move in with him, even though she's knocked up with his kid. Okay, there's so many things to this that are baffling. First of all, a lot of people might be like, oh, he's making it up. Why would you make up that sort of thing? You make yourself look like an awful person who's made so many stupid mistakes that continues to make said stupid mistakes. Why would you make that up? So I believe everything he's told me. There's no reason to make any of this up. He's not putting himself in a great light. Second of all, why is his wife still with him after all this? Can she just not find somebody else? Is she unable to financially? It doesn't sound like either of them have a great job. But still, there's got to be a way out of that relationship. It's been over 6 years of this shit going on. That's insane to me that they're still together. And how does that dynamic work? Number 3, of the girl who he had an affair with living with him and his wife. How does this sort of situation arise? I don't know. I didn't ask for any more details. I wanted my food. I left. I heard enough. It got busier. I did want to hear more. I'm going to be honest. I'm like, this is like a train wreck. I can't turn away. I got to know more. He also told me about how he had to save up for a new laptop because he smashed his old one because he has anger problems. And he recognizes that he has issues. He just hasn't solved any of them. And I remember he used to buy controllers all the time because he was smashing controllers. And, I wish that guy luck. And I hope he can turn his life around. But good God, I have not heard somebody fuck up their life that many times. I don't think ever. I think that's like the first time in real life I've heard some sort of like reality show situation like that unfold. Absolutely insane. Also, I should have said this back with the whole meth guy. I've had a lot of customers, especially at GameStop, come in and try to buy drugs or sell drugs. I don't know if it's because I had long hair at the time, but for some reason, everybody thought I knew somebody, or I was selling, or I was buying. I don't quite understand why, but it's like I don't know anybody. Can you just please leave? Please leave me alone. I'm having a difficult enough time at this job, having people coming in and trying to peddle drugs to me, and sometimes my manager too. It's not like they just waited for me to be singled out and alone. My manager would be there sometimes. It's like, what are you doing? And we'd have seasonal people they'd go up to. It's like, how have you not been put in jail yet? And if you have been put in jail, how did you not learn your lesson? Just crazy to me that people are that stupid to just brazenly say, you want to buy some drugs? Or do you know anyone that might sell me some drugs? What the hell? The last story I'm going to end this video with is about a guy that that definitely discussed in a previous video. But I feel like it bears repeating because it's sort of a confession, sort of not. It's just something that's really fun to talk about. And it's that guy that claims to be part of the Hilton family. He would regularly come into the store because a lot of people have had different theories about him. And I've thought about it a little bit more. And I want to talk about some of the more details of what happened. Because he would come in, flash lots of cash, and pre-order a shit ton of games, like 10 to 15. But he would only put about $5 each on these games. He was not paying off these games. So it's not like, some people said money laundering. I don't understand how that's money laundering, though. I don't understand money laundering enough, I guess, to say that it's not. But I don't think that's how that works. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to own the business that you're putting money into, not just buying games from GameStop. That doesn't make any sense. And he would sometimes buy a game, and then he would cancel a bunch of pre-orders, and then he would make a bunch of more pre-orders. I don't know what he was doing. It probably was something illegal. I don't know. And he also talked about how good he was at gambling, and he brought in his gun on several occasions just to show it off for the hell of it. Really strange guy. I didn't hate him being there because it was interesting hearing all of his stories that were most likely made up. But why would you go and show off to GameStop employees? Like what a strange flex. We didn't really care. Like, that's a lot of money. Congratulations. You have a lot of money in cash. Why would you have money in cash? I don't know. Why are you showing us your gun? I don't know. But there you go. That was that guy. Really strange. I remember when I was working at Walmart, I saw him again and he kept trying to pester me while I was on my shift to give him money to place bets on horses. And he was trying to guarantee that I would like triple my money. I didn't believe him, obviously, because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He sounds like a pop-up ad saying that I just won. All I have to do is give my social security card. So I gave him a couple of bucks. Said, come back if I win anything. He gave me his phone number, which was his real phone number. I remember calling him later, being like, hey, how'd my $5 do? And he just like was shifty about it. It was $5. And this guy, I never saw him again. But you know what? It was worth the $5 just to get him to stop pestering me while I was at work. And I never saw him since. So totally worth the $5. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments down below. Please leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more content. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys. This is the second time I had to shoot this video because the first time Audacity decided to stop recording after 6 minutes, which is why I looked back there occasionally because I'm like, I'm not shooting this again. Very long video. Today I'm drinking Belching Beaver Phantom Bride IPA. It's quite delicious. I still have that issue with the lighting getting darker and brighter, even though I've changed all of my camera settings to not do that. But apparently, it doesn't matter what I do. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. I have a Canon Rebel SL2. I don't think anyone's actually going to help me. Also, Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm not going to have a video out on Christmas, obviously, because I feel like it would do terrible because most people are going to be with their families. I thought about making a games to avoid your family on Christmas video, but the joke didn't really go over too well on Thanksgiving, so